Okay, I'm Kade.
Yes.
Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
I can hear you perfectly well.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, all right. Thank you so much for being here. I think we're starting now. Cassandra's network she's trying to fix it. I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll be starting now. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you to our guest, Ahmed, who's here with us now. While we are waiting, expecting Cassandra to join us, this is the Decent Work Show, episode 5. And today we're talking about a very important subject matter, um, how to build skills and grow your career trajectory through volunteering. And this is very important to us young people. And so we'll be hearing from the person into the questions for this session. I just want to introduce the network and the show. This is the Decent Work Show. It is a bi-weekly virtual talk show that bridges the gap between youth and stakeholders who are working to improve the access to decent work. The show is also a part of the Nigerian Youth Employment Action Plan objective to ensure that youth are well informed of existing opportunities that they have around them to help them, improve coordination of programs and initiatives that impact, youth employment in Nigeria specifically. And our objective is to help young people to learn how to build, a formidable career, post COVID. Things have changed, and so new things on how to work effectively um, in the new era of work. Now, for this episode today with Dr. Cassandra and Mr. Kayode, would want to help people, young people, understand the value or different aspects of decent work, and also want to help young people understand the importance of volunteering and also to help them understand how best to engage in volunteering activities that are relevant to their future career goals and their future career plans. Right. So our guests are here. Welcome, Cassandra. Thank you so much for being here. We really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. So my first question to you, or rather my first task to you, is to get you to introduce yourself. Anyone better than the man himself, right? So, ladies first, Dr. Cassandra, please introduce yourself to us. Dr. Cassandra, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm just wondering if you can
Okay,
hear
Mr.
me.
Kayode, you can go if um,
Yeah, I think Cassandra is speaking already, so she can just go ahead and introduce herself. Or do you want me to introduce you, Cassandra?
Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can always do that. I appreciate it. But can you hear me? Because I'm speaking, but I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Okay. Sorry, sorry, I didn't read it. So okay, so hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cassandra Kinde, and I'm a medical doctor,
yes,
and I'm
very
also an
well.
early career medical researcher. I obtained my bachelor's in medicine and surgery degree in 2016 from University of Lagos. Perfect. So, and I also recently earned my postgraduate degree from Tropical Medicine and International Health from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. I'm extremely passionate about combating health inequities in marginalized populations in underserved communities of across Nigeria, and for that reason, I've actually dedicated the past 6 years of my life to volunteering, with various nonprofit organizations, including the New Child Initiative, which I'm currently leading. Um, and Yeah, so and I've been doing this, through building solutions to healthcare challenges, through advocacy, research, and innovation, and of course, promoting the Sustainable Development Goals. My proven track record of my volunteering experiences, specifically, and my leadership experiences, have actually earned me several humanitarian awards. But the one I'm extremely proud of is the Chitney Award Scholarship that I earned through my experience, which actually saw me, going to United Kingdom and actually getting a postgraduate degree. So when I heard the particular show, I was extremely delighted, to even be invited. I felt extremely humbled to be part of this dialogue, and I'm really looking forward to promoting volunteer culture, and especially being here with my colleague and a friend Hamed. It's a great opportunity, it's a great privilege, and I'm extremely grateful to Nigerian Youth SDGs for inviting me, to the president and the whole team. So thank you very much for having me. So that's all from me. Over.
Thank you so much, Cassandra. So over to you, Mr. Ahmed.
Yeah, it's nice to hear Cassandra speak, and I mean, it's also a pleasure to share this platform with everyone. My name is Ahmed Kayode Alabi, and whenever I'm asked to introduce myself or I'm asked to talk about myself, the first thing I used to mention is that I'm a product of grace and circumstance. And the reason why I share that is that grace brought me to this point, and my circumstance also brought me to this point. Having to grow up and live in the slum throughout my early years, or living in rural communities, and seeing that children in rural communities cannot change the circumstances they've inherited because they don't have access to skills, education, and opportunities to change their circumstance. And this is why I started an initiative called Career Leadership and Career Initiative to help children in rural communities develop the necessary 21st century skills needed to change their circumstance and needed to integrate into the workforce. So we introduce these children to like design thinking, and they also learn from young people who inspire them through their stories. We provide career guidance for these young people in rural communities, and we've been able to like see the change that they've been able to create firsthand. So basically, that's an aspect of my work. So aside KLCI, I'm always busy writing or telling stories or telling stories about community issues, or advocating for sustainable development. And I've written a book, The Africa I Dream to See, where I talked about the my African dream, um, and how we need to like restore the continent in terms of the challenges we are all facing in the continent. Overall, I mean, like I've done so many other things, but I would say that this is me, and this is my story, and this is what I stand for. Really looking forward to contributing to this show and sharing. Thank you.
Inspired by the both of you here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I can hear you too.
Can you hear me? So let's move on to the next question that we always get asked our guests before we get specific with the topic. What does decent work mean to you? Because this show basically promoting and advocating for decent work at every level. So we always love to know what our guests them. We want to get your personal perspective of what decent work means. Either you can go first. What does decent work means to you?
Oh, you mean I can go first? Okay, great. So when we look at
Yes.
decent work, yeah, when we look at decent work, we are thinking about the work that one can do where one can earn a fair income, the one that you can do that you can say that it's a dignified job, and the job you can say that you're doing, and there's a security in that job, and and you can contribute to your family and also contribute to your own personal upkeep. You can save, you can earn a living, you can earn a true living through it. So when we think about this end job, we need to look at it from those perspective, or from those yardstick of human dignity, of security, of fair income. So you may want to ask that, if truly that what many young people go through in the country, if truly it's a decent job, or the access to opportunities that they have access to, if it truly is a decent work. Or even look at the kind of job people have access to today. We call them precarious work. Looking at the informal labor market. So you want to see like somebody who is like lifting, this market women lifting, I don't know what they call it, but you want to see if that is a decent job. Or somebody in Alaba market, someplace selling some things, you want to see if it is decent work or decent job. Or or even a young danfo driver. Would you call that a decent work, right? Because you can't call that a decent work, because it doesn't connect with human dignity. It doesn't connect with fair income. It's not that they are being paid. Many of them get on the road, and this person collects money from them, this one collects money from them. So you can't call all of those kind of job decent job. Or even, is it many unpaid internship or many unpaid volunteering? You can't also call those things decent work or decent job, really. So when you're looking at decent job, you look at it from four yardstick. You look at it from security, you look at it from fair income, you look at it from human dignity. And yeah, so these are my take when we want to talk about decent job or decent work, so to say.
I like the fact that you're from a wider perspective, with all areas inclusive. Yeah, and that is really amazing. So, Cassandra, can you tell us what does decent work means to you as a person?
Well, I think Ahmed has said it all. I don't even think I need to add anything to what he has already said. But I think that similar to what Ahmed has said, decent work to me basically just means an employment opportunity, that is productive, delivers a fair wage, you know, provides security in the workplace, provides social protection for families, to socially integrate people, and most importantly gives freedom for people to express their concerns, and participate in decisions that affect their lives, and of course, promotes equal opportunity and treatment of men and women. So I think that's what it means to me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Specific now with the topic. My first question to that is, now we're talking about volunteering. We want to know if volunteering as a whole gives an added advantage to anyone who is looking, to get a desired position in a particular career path, from your experience, because we want to learn from all the experience that you have had. And we chose you to be our guest because you have had a good number of years, volunteering. So, from your personal experience, we want to know if volunteering gives an added advantage, because most volunteering, the word volunteering, you're not getting paid for it. You may not even be recognized, so to speak. So, does all of this effort that people a desired position or a career path? Cassandra, you can go first on this question.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, so the answer to your question is definitely yes, of course. I mean, when I think about my own experience, my own volunteering journey, I'm always grateful, for the opportunities that volunteering has actually given me. Like when I think about, like, number one thing I would think about mostly is the fact that it has given me relevant experience. Sometimes, for example, right now I'm applying for job opportunities, right? And when I'm applying for these job opportunities, they will ask you for 5 years experience. And I think to myself, I graduated in 2016. I only worked for 3 years as a medical doctor. So where will I get those 2 years extra to make it 5 years to be able to qualify for this job opportunity? And thank God I've already volunteered between 2015 till now. So I have like almost 6 years experience there. So that would, make sure that it will tally and I'll have that relevant experience and then I'll be eligible to apply for opportunities. And I think similarly for every other discipline, it works that way. So that's number one. Relevant experience, it gives you that added advantage. The second thing I will say is that for me again, network. Like through my volunteering days, right? Especially in 2018, because that's where I was really able to maximize my volunteering opportunities. That's when I met the founder of Girl Hub Africa, right? Lucy Williams, Lord Williams Toby. She's such an amazing person. She really helped through her network alone, because I attended the Humanitarian 21st Century Conference, and just through going through that event and networking, right, I met several change makers across different disciplines, right? Because I've always been I'm a medical doctor, so the people in my network are mostly healthcare professionals, you understand? But there I was able to meet people from other disciplines, journalists, right? The TV presenters, right? Bankers, so many business entrepreneurs, and just from that particular moment, I was really able to expand my network. And so many opportunities that I've received so far has been through that. So I'm extremely grateful, for to volunteering culture for that. Then I also think that it also helped me as a person, because I've always been a shy person, right? So I've always been, introverted, but it helped me to boost my image, boost my self-esteem and even my confidence in the things that I do now. And so it's, like it also gives me this sense of fulfillment, sense of purpose. Sometimes, if I have nothing to do, I right now with all these job opportunities that are very difficult to get by, when you volunteer, at least you feel that you are useful to the team, you can work, you can do these things, right? And as you're doing it, of course, you're going to be building your capacity. I can't tell you how many skills I've actually learned just by being part of this volunteering organizations that I have volunteered in, right? Like the kind of skills I learned, even to write email, it was through volunteering, because in medical school, I remember that I didn't even know how to write email properly. And it was there I started learning how to write emails, how to communicate better, interpersonal skills that I've learned over the years, right? Communication, writing of proposals, right? So many skills that now, when I'm in this leadership position, has already fully equipped me to be able to do these things. So I think, I mean, it's such important, and of course, also cultivating your leadership skills, which is still relative to what I'm saying. It has also given me an advantage. So I think that, and also maybe what other advantage can I think about? I don't want to mention all of them so that at least Hamed has something more to say. But yeah, I think those are just some of them. Like I said, building my capacity, extreme, expanding my network, definitely boosting my image, boosting my self confidence, improving even my mental health. Like I said, sometimes you feel, you know, you're not worthy of something, but when you volunteer, you feel that sense of purpose. You're able to really improve yourself, improve your character, improve yourself in so many ways. So I think that's what I have to say. So yes, definitely it gives an added advantage, and I do promote volunteering culture, and I do you know encourage people to volunteer as much as possible. But of course, strategic volunteering, not just volunteering, strategic volunteering. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Over.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really love the part where you talk about increasing your network, building your capacity into even small skills like writing email. Like, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with us. So we go over to you, Mr. Ahmed. Please, can you share with us areas in your career that volunteering has helped you?
I would say that every progress that I have made, they are through volunteering, because volunteering for me is actually like that thing that catalyzed me into the space that I'm working in today. I wouldn't have probably worked in this space if I don't have like the active volunteering experience that I've had over the years. So like I love to share story, and I know Cassandra has touched on many aspects of the kind of skills we can build through volunteering. But this is my story, and this is my experience. I would say that for me, it came as a mistake. I didn't know that it's even I didn't know what I was doing then was volunteering. So like in 2008 or 2007, I attended a program, and I learned about HIV and AIDS. So then I became a peer educator for HIV and AIDS. So whenever I go to schools or I go to places, I was very young, about 14 or 13 years old. I talk about HIV and AIDS. And when I graduated from like secondary school, I was 15 years old, very young as well. So I started like teaching in a basic education school, organizing remedial classes for students. And still, I never knew that those things I was doing back then, they were actually volunteering. I was just passionate about giving back to people. But the truth is, I was building some key skills that I didn't know. For instance, talking to students means I was building public speaking skills, like I was enhancing my human relationship skills. And I never knew I was doing those things. So, volunteering actually gives you some certain confidence and boost to expand your career or to even move forward in your career. So when I got into the university, I mean, I joined the Nigerian Red Cross Society, and I also was facilitating free tutorials in school. So I built key network, key relationships, and one thing that it does for me when I was at the university, I facilitated free tutorials for students from like 100 level to 400 level. I started building public speaking skills and all of those skills during those moments. I connected with someone in my 400 level, and the person was like in 100 level. I connected with the person, and the person actually built our first website for my organization, and also built my personal website. And currently, the person is the director of ICT in my organization. What does that mean? You build relationship, you co-create with people, you build relationship with people where you can be co-founders, or they can support you in your growth or in your career. And how did that happen? I gave something out. I volunteered. So what happens is that volunteers, when you volunteer and you volunteer your time to other people or to other people cause, it also gives them the opportunity to do the same for you. So when you need support or you need help or you need somebody to call, volunteer helps you to like expand that network. You can easily call somebody to support you. So, and that's what happened. Many of the people who actually today are volunteering with my organization are people that I've met through like volunteering, or people I've built relationship with, or people that we are in the same community organization together. So what that does is that it allows you to connect with like minds, people who share similar ideas and passion with you, and you're able to co-create together or co-create solutions. So you don't find it hard to call people to say that I need support, I need help. You can easily reach out to people. So I mean, I can't still count like in my NYSC, I still did a personal community development service project, which is another aspect of volunteering that I did. What that does is that it taught me community management. That was the first time I came up with a budget, and I came up with a proposal that I sent to NYSC. So imagine, I mean, like these are the skills I'm using today in my work or in other things that I'm doing. How do you come up with a proposal? How do you come up with a budget? How do you do community mobilization? How do you talk to community people in community? These are the things that people need when you want to get a role. So imagine you're getting a role and they're asking you a question. Oh, tell us an example of how you've been able to mobilize communities, or how you've been able to execute a project. I mean, volunteering gives you that platform. It gives you that pathway to be able to share an experience or tell a story. And the truth is, if you don't work or if you don't volunteer, you don't have any story to tell. So it's important that we build some of these key skills through volunteering. They actually happen unconsciously that you don't know. I mean, there are some certain things that are very conscious, but there are some things that happens unconsciously that you don't know. And all of those things like sort of like creates a sort of like pathway, for your career trajectory and for your career growth. And it's also important to know that this is where I'm going to. So if somebody says that in 10 years or in 5 years, I want to be in this position, how do I get to that position? How do I get there? What do I need to do to get there? So to get to that point, so for me, I do what we call like I walk backwards most times. This is where I want to go, and I walk backwards. What are the necessary steps to get into that space? Oh, the first thing is to volunteer with this organization. So you want to work with a similar organization. Oh, I want to work with Ford Foundation in 5 years. Oh, I want to work with Deloitte in 5 years. What do I need to get to Deloitte? Then you see that, oh, this is what I need to do. I need to volunteer for an organization similar to what Deloitte is doing. It doesn't have to be a big organization. It could be very small organization. Oh, let me just help you with your tax audits. Let me just help you with something, and then you contribute your skill. Are you able to build an experience through that way, and you move through the line until you get to that point, right? Because you can't just be writing anything in your application, or you can't just be saying anything in interview. You need to give experiences and stories. You need to give evidences. You need to give impact stories. This is what I did. This is what I contribute. So that's what comes about strategic volunteering. So if I'm interested in educational development, so then I need to look out for educational organizations to volunteer with, and then build that experience towards getting into that point or into that process.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kaide. I think you even, got into the next question I was about to ask. But I want to just, say again some of the key things that you said concerning building skills and, touching the intentionality when it comes to volunteering, knowing that if you have a career goal, future plans for the kind of work you want to do, you have to strategically or intentionally make sure that you build skills by volunteering with organizations that are connected or related to what you want to do in the future. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to be taking the next question from the last statement that Dr. Cassandra made, talking about volunteering and not just volunteering. Oh, they're doing something here. Let me just jump into it, right? So I want us you guys to throw more light on strategic volunteering by giving us some practical tips on how to intentionally and strategically position ourselves for the right volunteering opportunities that are related to our career goals. What are the things that one can do? What are the ways that one can position themselves so that they are volunteering, yes, but then they are volunteering well and strategically? So please, Dr. Cassandra, you can go first on this.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, so the practical steps I would suggest. But first of all, I just want to people to know that this is just my own modus operandi, and this is what I've done. It doesn't mean that it's standard. I'm sure Hamed has his own experiences, so there are different ways to do this. So I would just use my experience during my time in United Kingdom, and I will say that when I was doing my postgraduate degree, right, I knew who I was. So for the first step, basically, is to find out who you are. You ask yourself your questions: Who are you? You know what where your focus area is. Of course, where you want to be in 5 years, just like Ahmed said, or 10 years. So you want to basically map out your whole career trajectory so that you know where your destination is. So, and I knew where my destination was. So, I also knew my strengths, I also knew my weaknesses, and I wanted to I wanted to solidify my strengths and I wanted to work on my weaknesses. So, I've streamlined several organizations that are aligning with my values and my focus areas, and that had to be Save the Children, because I've already worked with the New Child Initiative, and it had similar values and similar mission and vision that Save the Children has. So I felt that this is the organization that I really want to work with, right? This is the organization that I want to volunteer, because I know that there are certain skills I'm going to learn, and I've already put them down. These are the skills I want to learn. So I started networking, with the people that have worked before, on LinkedIn. I was leveraging on my social media to try and discuss with people, try to find out the gaps, that they might need in that volunteering organization, because you have to understand that there are many people who will be applying. So you have to have something specific in mind that you can contribute to that organization, right? So I started looking for ways, where can I really contribute? And so when the time came, right, I applied for the opportunity. But before then, I've already been building my online portfolio, right? So I was already, putting out some of the work that I do and tagging them, so that they know what I what I am promoting, of course. And as I was doing that, right, I still, so now the time came to apply. So I now applied for the volunteering opportunity. And based, on the interview, I mean, they asked me practical examples, about what are those things that I have done in Nigeria, and I talked to them about the things I did, right? The projects that my team and I organized, conducted, what we did and everything, and that's how I got the position as a campaign champion for Save the Children UK. And while I was there, oh my God, I learned so much. Specifically for me, like I said, I knew my weaknesses. I knew that one of my weaknesses was negotiating skills, right? Be able to engage stakeholders, MPs, government, local chairman, all those kind of people that I don't really have access to. Do you understand? So I started, working on those skills, and it was perfect, right? I was doing that, and I was also learning other things as well. So as I did all that, I volunteered for 2 years with them. So and of course I really gained a lot, and most importantly I expanded my network, right? So now through my network within the Save the Children, I have lots of recommendations. So I also made sure I got recommendations offline and online, right? So that, for the future, because definitely you are going to move on to the next stage of your life, and you want to be sure that you have created, important relationships, and whenever there's opportunity, they can refer you based on the work that you have shown, and the initiative that you have shown while you were in that organization. And so I'm glad to say that now that I've moved on, from that place, it's through them that I'm getting some opportunities to do this, short-term consultancy jobs and things like that. It is through there. So those are just some of the things I think. Yeah. So these are just some of the steps that I have. That is my modus operandi. I'm sure, like I said, different people have different way. So it depends on the skill as well, like which particular skills you want to learn, which particular skills you want to work on. Like I said, now, even as with the skills that I've learned, I'm still learning, I'm still improving, of course. I'm still looking at people like Ahmed, who have excellent public speaking skills. I still watch their videos, right? Even this opportunity I have is also an opportunity for me to practice, right? Practice public speaking, and afterwards I will go and watch the things that I did. Where did I fail? Like, where did I, like, maybe where I could have done better, right? Because you still have to keep improving yourself, and that. So yeah, so I think those are just some of the steps that I have taken, and so far it has worked for me. Thank God for that. And yeah, over. I think Tracy is not here yet.
Okay, so thank you, Cassandra. My network was shaking, but I followed through to, I think, close to the end now, and I really like the fact that you emphasized on building a portfolio and making sure that you kept on building skills to land you to that particular position that you really wanted to get to. And then building network, strategically building network, even for the next level of your career, of your life. So thank you very much. Okay, so over to you, Ahmed.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cassandra touched on so many things, and I mean, I'm also inspired by her work and by her passion, and what she does and how she does it. Very inspiring, and I'm humbled. Thank you, Cassandra. I would say that when it comes to strategic volunteering, I would say that I want to start from the basics. Um, you're not volunteering so that you can carry drinks in events. They are good. When you go for events and they call you for volunteering and you're carrying drinks and you're carrying food and you're just in charge of logistics. Those things are good for logistical things. But I would say that in the 21st century or in the work that we do today, those things are least required. Yeah, they are like energy stuff. They involve efforts. We need people to do that. But that shouldn't just be your aim of volunteering. The aim of volunteering is beyond packing drinks and food. The aim of volunteering involves you going into an organization and building key skills. So when we say strategic volunteering, you're going to an organization to harness a particular skills, a particular policy. So if you go into an organization and you see a gap, it's important for you to say that I want to take a role, I want to do something within this thing. I noticed that the organization doesn't have this thing and I want to contribute, I want to share. So one of the things I used to mention or I used to say is that if they don't volunteer, you volunteer yourself. So when you get into an organization, you're working in, what are those things that they need? So for me, if I get into an organization and I want to volunteer, the first thing I'm thinking about is what is the need of the organization? What do they want? What do they need to do? How can I contribute to this need by creating that solution? Because it's that solution that you will talk about as your, because you own it. The truth is that you can own your own story in an organization story, and that's what volunteering does to you. So I looked at an organization and they're organizing a program and they need a baseline form to create. They want to create a baseline form to recruit volunteers or other volunteers. I would say, oh, please, can I come up with this form for you? And what that does is that I'm already using Google Form to be able to create a form and everything and strategy. Oh, I noticed that you don't have a volunteer policy plan, or I noticed that you don't have a communication plan. What you do is that you can come up with a communication plan. What you're already doing is that you're already building those skills already, because you own those things, you own those processes. So when we say strategic volunteering, we are saying that you're going into an organization with something that you have in mind, with something that you want to create, with something that you want to build. So it's about building key skills, so that would help you in your life or in your work or in your project, and it's something you continue to tell. So for example, like I'm currently like volunteering with the Mastercard Foundation on the communications team. And one of the things I did was to like initiate the scholar story bank. I noticed that there's a need for like gathering stories, and I created this scholar story bank. So I can say that I've been able to create this kind of solution moving forward, or in my, like, if I want to like apply for something around communications, I can easily teach my story towards communication because I've had a platform where I've contributed something and I've used that platform to build experiences, right? So that these are like examples of what you can do. For instance, I also like volunteer with the Mastercard Foundation to support refugees in Uganda to access higher education. And I'm telling you that this project, just volunteering for this project has changed a lot in terms of my career trajectory. And I'm currently writing my dissertation on the same project because I volunteered. And the truth is that it was through the volunteering on that project that I got one of the key person on the project asked me, Ahmed, would you be able to write this project? Would you be able to write your dissertation on this particular project that you're volunteering on? And I said, why not? Like, it's an interesting topic. I've been looking forward to like gain experiences in higher education, most especially marginalized communities and refugees. So I joined I'm writing my dissertation in the project, and I also got a placement with the Mastercard Foundation on that same project. So I started leading monitoring and evaluation, which I have never done before. I don't have experience in mail, monitoring, evaluation, research, and learning. I don't have any experience in mail. But because I volunteered for that program, I got a placement, and now I'm writing my dissertation and I'm learning about mail. So what I've been doing on that work is that I've been collecting tutors feedback, I've been synthesizing surveys, I've been using tools to create the surveys, I've been analyzing the surveys using qualitative analysis such as like NVivo and some other like data analytical tools. So if I'm going to a new role with all of the other volunteering experience I've had, I'm like, yeah, I've built some of these skills. These are the skills I have. This is what I did. This is what I contributed. In fact, I created a structure. I created a system to collect feedback, tutors feedback, to easily collect tutors feedback. So these are things I would communicate in my next job or in my next work. I was applying for a role recently, and when I started writing about all of those experiences and all of those skills, so you're not just writing experiences I contributed to XYZ. What are those skills? What did you do to contribute to XYZ? As I'm talking about creating structures, I'm talking about creating a mentorship program for refugees. Like, it was just so interesting to talk about because I did a work. I wasn't just there to carry drinks or to do other, or to just be a cheerleader, or to just be I don't know. Somebody said something recently like a WhatsApp volunteer, because right now there's what we have right now. We have WhatsApp volunteers now. Like, people will just be want to be added to different NGOs group, and they just want to be on WhatsApp, and just to say I'm part of this NGO, Yeah, it's good to cheerlead, fine, good to share, but it's also important to actually, take on roles within an organization, build key skills through that organization. If they don't volunteer you, volunteer yourself.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Key takeaway. I really love the part where you talked about, actively putting yourself in the work that is required, and not just being by the side or being just a cheerleader and just be there, because that will not give you the skill, right? So I hope young people listening to us are learning one or two things, because it is important that as you volunteer, you also build skill, and that entails you to do the work, just like Ahmed said, put in the work, position yourself and do the work so that you can own the skill, and use it for the future. Thank you so much. So we are gradually coming to the end, and before I get to the very last question, I want to specifically talk about the gender factor when it comes to volunteering. And I'm going to be asking Dr. Cassandra this question. If she has ever experienced any limitation as being a female to a volunteering experience, or if being a female has also led made her to lose some opportunities in volunteering just because she's a female. Can you please talk to us about that, so that people can also know if there are any disadvantage, or so to speak, what to expect from being a female in volunteering?
Thank you for that question. Truthfully, in my experience, I've never had any gender discrimination. Thank God, I've never had such experiences at all. I've always felt that it was based on merit and not based on your gender. So I never had such experience. And if so, I mean, I've not had that experience. I can't really talk about much about that. But like I said, for me, all my experiences have been positive. And if anytime maybe it was negative, it would be based on my work. Then maybe I wasn't performing up to the task. I had to optimize my deliverables. But it has never had to do anything to do with gender. So I don't think that's a factor. Over.
Thank you so much. So glad to hear that, and it's encouraging to know that if you put in the work, you know what you're doing, you would, thrive, whether you're male or whether you're a female. So thank you so much, Cassandra. So on the final note, I want you to take 1 minute to talk to us about what you would do differently if you're to start all over again. Yeah, gone through volunteering for a number of years, but there were times where you didn't know some things that you knew now. So, what would you do differently if you were to start all over again? 1 minute for each speaker. So, anyone can go first. Cassandra, you can go first.
Well, I think that when I think about my journey, what do I wish I had done differently? Well, I think maybe the only thing I would think about is that I wish maybe I had started early because, like I said, I spent most of my medical school, that's 6 years, right? So 4 years I spent it on books. So no extracurricular activities, no social activities, just books, 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 books. And I felt that just 4 years wasted, could have actually been more productive because I only started volunteering in my fourth year medical school, right? So I think that's one thing that I would have preferred to do differently because now some of these opportunities that come up outside, they have age limits, right? So by the time you reach maybe for example maybe 25, right? There are some opportunities that you wish you could have, applied for, but because of your age limit, you can't. So I wish that I had started much earlier, right? So that I am more strategically positioned for these opportunities at an earlier age than later on. So I think my key takeaway here will be just that try and start, immediately you get to university, that's the time for you to really, you know, volunteer as much as volunteer strategically, gain the skills you need, start networking. Because I see so many young medical students now, which I also mentor, you know, and I'm glad I'm doing this. However, I wish someone was there to mentor me, you know, when I was in medical school. But you know, it's all about, you know, rise by lifting others. So I guess that's what we need to keep doing, helping people, helping the younger generation to keep succeeding and learning from our mistakes. So that's my take. Over.
Awesome. Starting early. That's really awesome. Like, it's a great advice, and I hope our audience were listening. Please start early as you can. It will position you better for more opportunities. So let's go over to Mr. Ahmed. What would you do differently if you had to start all over again?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that some of the mistakes that I've made probably are not my fault. That's one thing I would say. But I would say that because I don't have the access to information, so because I started volunteering early enough, doing a lot of things, but I never knew that there were opportunities that could actually enhance my skills, or that could actually enhance my volunteering, or enable me to do more work or to do more good work, like getting into programs or fellowships. I never had access to those information until I completed my national youth service. So, but again, it's never too late. Like, there's always a time to like harness the opportunities, because the truth is that all the work you've done, somehow will start to like they will take shape. You'll be able to understand it better. So even if the timing is different, I mean, it's fine. But I wish I have had I wish I've been able to like see opportunities that could have harnessed the potential of all of the volunteering that I've done in the past. But yeah, I mean, I'm still enjoying them right now, but it really took time. So probably access to information. So I wish I had probably, move with people, join more communities, get to know more about programs, get to know more about where I can meet people on network. I did all of those things, when I knew, within like, I mean, I joined the Nigerian Youth SDGs like network and many program. I attended the Youth SDGs cafe and many places where I met, different kind of people. So it's not just enough to volunteer. It's also important to connect, meet people, go to programs, and you could probably harness the potential of volunteering by going to those places. So having access to the information and going to places. And the truth is that the work you do, when you're not getting paid, will actually pay you later. And that's what happened when you get into like a role that pays you, or a job that they would hire you. Those experiences that you've gathered through volunteering would probably pave way for you in getting those roles that would pay you. So I would say that that's one thing. And another thing I would say is to also pay attention to my own mental health, or to my mental space. When I'm tired, just take some time to rest, because I know that sometimes you volunteer and then you lose so many things in terms of your health. And when you start reaping the reward of volunteering, probably at that time you're also nursing a particular health issue, or an health cause. So as you take time to volunteer, also take time to rest. Please don't kill yourself trying to save the world, that you're not taking care of yourself or saving. So I think that's something I would also add and share. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's really profound how you talked about health. Making sure that your mental health, your physical health, you're keeping it in check while you do all this beautiful work, so that you can also enjoy the benefits of the work that you have done so far. Thank you so much, Dr. Cassandra. I've really enjoyed the conversation, and I'm really inspired. And I'm sure a lot of our audience, they're also inspired by the work that you're doing, and we're inspired to do more strategically in the volunteering community, and make sure that we position ourselves for better opportunities in the future. Thank you. So this is where we're going to be, closing this episode. I just want to let our audience know that you meet us here again in 2 weeks' time, and before then, you can always check up on our website, www.decentwork.ng. We have the replay of this show, and also we also have opportunities, scholarship, and other opportunities on the website. So do well to check up on the website and to find opportunities that may suit what you have and the website is www.decentwork.ng. Once again, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Cassandra and Mr. Ahmed. Hope you have a lovely day and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tracy, for
Thank
being
you.
a host. And I mean, nice doing this with Cassandra. Looking forward to doing more.
Thank you very much. It was really great to
Thank
be
you.
here with Hamed, and it was nice meeting you. I'm looking forward to doing much more.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.